Hey everybody, welcome back or welcome for the first time, welcome to Havokmkr Studio. I'm your host, John Owens. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Seems like I'm still having them, so we're going to do our best to get through the show. I'm going to be monitoring it. I can still see I'm having some problems with the chat window. It's not connecting properly. So I'm not sure what's happening there, but I'll figure all that out. So I will have the chat set up on my phone. I'm not sure how long my phone's going to last. I might have to plug it in. So just bear with me. A couple hiccups here, which really surprising because it's the exact same setup I was having over at FNP Wargamers. So let me first go ahead and say thank you for joining the channel, hitting up on Facebook and whatnot. I know some of you are like, what the heck is John doing? What the hell is going on? What is all of this? I'm going to get to that. So first, let me go ahead and get this up here. This is our first episode, my first episode. I've got to stop saying our. This is the live paint and chat. This is our first episode, which we will be doing Monday through Friday, every day, 7 p.m. Central Time, provided that there's not like a zombie apocalypse or Sharknadoes, whatnot going on. As long as we don't have like some major disaster, I will be doing live paint and chats. Now today, since a lot of you are new to the channel or new to whatever the heck I'm doing, I'm going to kind of give you a nice breakdown of everything that's going to be happening. And then we're going to get right into painting a Primaris Blade Guard veteran. How am I going to do that when those aren't even released? Well, we're going to get to that. So once again, I'm John Owens. This is my channel, Havokmkr Studio. And if you can do me a favor, while I'm running my mouth here, down below, and if you're on Twitch, you should see a whole bunch of social media links for Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Hey, awesome. Thanks, Jimmy Johnson, Gross Nerd. Thanks, everybody. So if you guys can do me a big favor and hit those social media links down below, it helps grow the community. And one of the cool things about growing this community is that the more eyes that we have on it, especially on Twitch and on YouTube, the more eyes I have watching at one time or commenting, especially when these videos are uploaded to YouTube, it gets a lot of eyes on it. So we get sponsors, we get local stores and corporate sponsors going, oh dude, let's take a look at this. Let's see his audience size, and then let's give him something as a thank you and for advertising for us. And when I get stuff like that, I can turn around and go, guys, this Raid Shadow Legends or Ridge Wallet or some of the local stores, the gaming stores might go, hey man, here you go. Here's some free product. I can go, guys, I got some free stuff for you, and start having some giveaways to give back to the community. And that's what I want to be able to do, is give to the community, which was the main reason for setting up the channel, not just to have giveaways, but also pass on. I've got about 30, I hate saying it, but about 30 plus years worth of knowledge for gaming, painting, and converting miniatures and such. And I want to be able to pass on that knowledge, not to really toot my own horn, but I want to kind of demystify reduce some of the anxiety that people have with painting and building or even playing games, whether it's games like Warhammer 40,000, Bolt Action, Infinity, or Dungeons and Dragons, just painting miniatures, building them. It just getting through all that kind of stops people or slows down their productivity with it. So I want to be able to get rid of that and make it nice and easy for you, especially those of you that are like, hey, I only have 5 minutes a week to build and paint a model. I've got you covered. I've got a string of videos that we're going to be doing, some live, some pre-recorded, to show you what you can get done at 5 minutes for a week or even 5 minutes a day. I've got you covered. So you might know me from FNP Wargamers, which I'm over on that channel. You can give them a like here on Twitch and Facebook and YouTube as well. And because I'm on there, I'll do news, rumors, that sort of thing. Still going to be doing that, just I'm going to be concentrating on the hobby aspect and reviewing RPGs, doing some live reaction videos to some horrible movies and food and whatnot later on down the line. But I wanted to do something fun for myself and for the community that has supported me over all these years. So I'm going to be splitting my time between the two. And I'm glad you guys are here to join me. So we're about ready to get into this. If you guys get a chance, about ready to click onto something. If you can, hit those social media links down below in the About section, and just so we can start building it up and I can start passing out, give her prizes and such. Now, not everybody's going to get something. I can't do that. I'm not Oprah Winfrey unless I win the lottery tomorrow or something, and then everybody's going to get something. I guarantee it. It might be a pair of socks with my logo on it. I don't know, but everybody would get something if I won the lottery. But the more followers that we get, the more milestones I reach, especially here on Twitch and over on YouTube. Once that starts taking off, once we start getting a large volume there, usually like 50 and 100 followers, 75 here during in one live stream, whatnot, that those are going to be milestones. And when we hit those, everybody that's a follower is going to get entered into that, basically the giveaway. And if you're over on all these other social medias, whether you're getting notifications or not, but you're liking on there, you're following, those are going to get you extra entries into it. So you're going to get lots of chances to get some freebies from me, including in the very near future, there's going to be a army giveaway for both Age of Sigmar and Warhammer 40,000. It's a charity projects that I'm going to be working on over the next 6 months, and we're going to generate a bunch of money for these charities and give the money to them. And some of you, at least 2 of you, are going to walk away with a brand new Age of Sigmar and Warhammer 40,000 army from Games Workshop. This is within the next 6 months, but we've got to hit those milestones first. So let me take a drink. Yeah. Now, like I said, I can't see all the chat, so something is not working properly here with my chat, so I apologize. Until my phone dies here, I will do my best to monitor chat. Thank you once again for joining. So, I said we're going to be painting Blade Guard Veteran. What are Blade Guard Veterans? Some of you might be asking, or others might be getting a little giddy, a little excited, like, oh my god, does John have Blade Guard Veterans? Does he have these brand new snazzy Marines that are going to be coming out in the Indominus box probably next month? I'm going to be painting those, but no, I'm not painting these ones exactly. So let me give you the idea here. We are painting a Blade Guard Veteran today, but I need to set this all up here for you guys. These Blade Guard Veterans are the new type of Primaris Space Marine that are going to be coming out with 9th edition in about a month, or a little bit less than a month. And I want to go ahead and have them for my Space Marine chapter that I'm working on right now, the Iron Snakes. Now, the Iron Snakes have a very Greek culture, a little Roman Greco, but more of on the Greek side, Grecian side. And I want to have that reflected in a lot of their aesthetics. Unfortunately, these models, and I'm going to be getting these models, they'll just be add-ons to the army, or I might just paint them up. Maybe you guys might have a request later on down the line, like, hey, could you paint me up some Blade Guard Veterans for my Space Wolves? I got you covered. I got these extras, and I'll paint them for you. But I wanted them to have my own aesthetic, not this kind. These guys have a kind of a European knightly order, maybe like a Crusader style to their overall aesthetic, and it doesn't really fit my army. And you might be like, well, what are you doing color-wise and armor-wise? Let me show you a couple examples of you have not been bamboozled. I am going to be painting a Blade Guard Veteran, just not those Blade Guard Veterans. So first, let me show you the color scheme that we're doing for the Iron Snakes. Now, this is the chapter master I just kind of threw together. He's the basic Captain and Gravis armor that comes out of the box set, the Dark Imperium box right now that you can buy for 8th edition. And this is I think it's a very great color scheme. I really like the way it looks. I made it a little bit brighter than it's supposed to be. It's supposed to have like a gunmetal look to it, but I went a little brighter. So what I'm going to do with the rest of the army is just stick with this. I messed up by getting a little crazy with the highlights, and then all of a sudden, next thing I know, I got this really shiny armor. But I like it. I'm going to stick with it, and we're going to keep doing it. I've already got like 35, 36 models like that. But the Greco, or the Greek kind of theme for the Iron Snakes would be a little bit more like this. Now this is a captain conversion, a Phobos captain conversion I worked on, and like the spear right here is different components, a 3D printed spear shaft. That sword is from the Death Watch box set. That helmet is from a Minotaur's chapter, their chaplain, their Reclusiarch from Forge World. I plan on getting a bunch more of those helmets and swap out the ones that I've got right now on my Blade Guard veterans. And the Phobos captains have basically it's a sniper rifle called an Instigator rifle, or Instigator bolt rifle. Now I just grabbed a component from, I call them the Chocobo walkers, but I believe they're Iron Striders from the Adeptus Mechanicus, and I really liked this long rifle. So I was like, man, let's just go ahead and just get crazy, slap that on there, and make my own. So this is kind of what we're aiming for color-wise and scheme-wise. I want them to have that kind of a feel, not really that knightly feel that we're getting with these guys. And I got a couple models here that I'm working on. I'm going to show you one, and then we're going to get right into the painting of the one that we're going to start with. Now this is one of the conversions I'm working on. Made another one of those spears with the 3D printed spear shaft and the Death Watch sword tip. And that plume at the end is it's a head plume for a Adeptus Custodes Terminator, the Aloris Terminators. So I got a little crazy. This is a Lieutenant's body for the Dark Imperium, and that's a head from the Grey Knight's box, Grey Knight Terminator box. So I wanted to have a little bit of a fancy helmet, but I wanted to get away from the main aesthetic of that kind of knightly order. Let me check chat real quick. So what shields are they going to be having? I've got some of these Adeptus Custodes shields. We're going to be giving that to them as well. So we're going to get really crazy. So what am I doing today? Well, this is the first of the models. He's got, I think, 8 different components on here that we are going to be painting. I did a little prep work on him to get him up and going. We're going to get him hopefully fully painted in the next hour or so. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what I've done for this conversion. And if you're not familiar with conversions, it's simply taking one miniature and combining other parts from other kits to them. So this main body is a Primaris Intercessor from the Dark Imperium box that some of you might be familiar with. The head is a Terminator, a Grey Knight Terminator head. The arm here, this arm right here, goes to a Blood Angel Sanguinary Guard. I use a little bit of green stuff to connect it to the body. This tabard, this smaller tabard, not the full length tabard the other guys have, that's actually from the Venatari, or the Venatari Custodes from Forge World. I've got a variety of these purity seals from various kits. Those will be a lot more visible as I get them painted. And this right here, these magazines are from the Mark III armor, I believe, the Space Marine Mark III. And this arm, this left arm, is actually 2 different pieces that are pinned together from the Intercessor Space Marine kit. So this is what we're going to be working on today. So let me check chat. Okay, chat's looking good. Though my battery is like, oh my god, stop. All right. Still don't know why chat window is not working. I'll have to figure that out later. How in chat real quick, is everything looking good? Is it are you guys seeing any frame rate drops? Let me know because it's my computer's saying, man, you're having issues. I don't know. Can't tell. All right. All right. Okay, cool. It's all good. I can't complain. Well, I can, but I'm not going to. All right. So there's so many different ways that you guys have probably watched me paint. I'll start, top to bottom, bottom to top, or just start pretty much anywhere. So what I'm going to do today is, I really don't know. I don't know how I feel I want to start with this. You know what? We're going to keep it simple. We're going to do the Black Templar. We're just going to keep with the same process I've done every time. We're going to put some Black Templar down into these joints, especially right here behind the knees and in his crotch right down in there to show just kind of a flexible area. Because those are not armored, because if it was just a piece of armor, there's no flexibility. They might be 8 foot tall, 1,200 pounds superhuman warriors, but if you can't move, well, you're pretty useless. So let's go ahead and just I'm using the Black Templar contrast paint, which is really, I think, it's one of their best of the contrast. And we're going to use their small layer brush, and we're just going to just put a thin line down inside there in those joints, just darken it up, because the rest of this model is going to brighten up as we go. So we're going to go ahead and get his crotch here, get that taint taken care of, get it, or at least we're going to paint it black so you can't see it. He's wearing the black pants today, just in case. All right, so you can see, trying to get that in there in the light. Sorry about the lighting here. I just got all this brand new lighting, and it seems to be a little dark. Let me see if I can lighten this up real quick here. See if we can lighten up this camera. And as I said a little bit ago, I will be open to suggestions, especially in the comments, especially if you guys are able to comment on when I get this uploaded to YouTube later. If you're able to do that, oof, that might be a little too bright. Yeah, sorry about that. Let's get that back down. It'll just have to be dark for now. But if you guys can do some likes and such on YouTube and get some comments after I get it loaded up, I will be able to see those comments. And if you have any suggestions or requests on, hey, would you mind painting say a Space Wolf or Death Guard in their original color scheme, the Dusk Raiders? Yeah, I can do that. I've got plenty of extra models, and even if I don't have any extra models, I can strip some of the dummy models that I will paint. I'll do some paint testing on. I'll strip those, and we will get those tested out for you so you guys can see what those color schemes look like. Or maybe I might end up just doing some commissions for you guys. Somebody might be like, hey, could you paint up this Ragnar Blackmane that I got, this brand new one, which I would love to paint, by the way. So, man, that is some pretty dark lighting. All right. Let's get some color in there besides the black. Well, I guess black's not really a color. It's more of a tone. Let's get some color that might clear that up a little bit. Clean that up. Let's do this. Maybe that might get a little bit brighter. Yeah, that got a little bit brighter. All right. So let's go ahead and get some color in on this guy before we go any further, because that will, but that'll help show some things off. So I'm going to add some Retributor Gold to at least the Aquila on his chest. This will help brighten them up a little bit here. Get a little bit more definition to the model so it doesn't look so bland. Still using that small brush, that small layer brush from Citadel. And I'm not trying to get a super thick coat, just a relatively thin coat. Sometimes I'll do 2 thin coats, but this is a base paint, and it is got some pretty gosh darn good coverage. So I don't have to worry too much about doing a second layer. If I had added a little too much water to it, it might have been a little runny, and I would have had to fix it at that point. But this worked out. All right, so I'm going to do a quick scan to see if there's anything else I think might need to have gold. While I've got gold on my palette, does not look like it. Oh, you know what? While I've got this gold, I'm going to actually add a little bit more gold. We're just going to go ahead. So we're experimenting, as if you've watched any of my other episodes, you know I like to experiment with painting sometimes. Like, I'm feeling like this today. So this sword is a master crafted power sword. So it's a cut above the rest. We want it to kind of reflect that, well, I'd basically say veteran status, or that well-crafted status that it has. What makes it awesome is that it is much more deadly, if a sword can be more deadly. in this particular game, they are a lot more potent. Their energy field is a lot stronger, and it can cut through and do more horrendous damage to their opponents, as swords should do. But these swords in particular, anything that's master crafted or a relic, are, as you can imagine, very deadly and a lot more ornate. And that's what we're going for here. We're going to be adding a little bit more gold. We're probably going to go ahead, I don't know, what do you guys think? Should I go ahead and just do this whole cross guard? And yeah, I think so. No, the Aquillas are not always gold. It really depends, Grandpa Strange, on the army. First off, some don't. Some will have black, blue, white, silver. And even well, that's lore wise. If you want to be strict to the lore, that's up to you. They are your miniatures. Well, provided you're not doing like you're not painting somebody else's miniatures. When they're your miniatures, man, you can do whatever you want. Remember that. You can paint them however you want. If you want them to be pink, dude, you make them pink. Pink and purple and blues and greens, just a riot of colors. Maybe you want to celebrate Pride Month and make a rainbow marine. Well, actually, funny enough, rainbow marines they don't have rainbow colors. They're blue and white. And yes, that is an actual Space Marine chapter, the Rainbow Marines. I don't know if it was a joke back in the day, but they stuck around. They just don't go away. And it's even their symbol's not even a rainbow. It's like this lightning bolt type symbol. So true story. Anyways, though, they're your models. If you want it to be gold, you make it gold. If you want it to be pink, whatever, man. Do what you want. Because if people are going to give you a hard time about it, then they probably should not be involved in the hobby. They are bad sports. And yes, I said that. I'm not afraid to say stuff like that. People are going to put you down for the work you've done. Nah. All right, so got some gold. He's starting to take shape a little bit there. I want more colors to pop. So I'm thinking, let's go ahead and get some browns in there. Now we're going to do browns in 2 stages. Well, really 3 stages, but I'm waiting. I'm still practicing on doing aged leather or battle damaged leather. So that's going to come much later, and I'm pretty much going to do one video and do like about 60 or 70 models at once. So that's going to be a fun day. So I'm actually going to do this 2-step process right now, and why it's drying, we'll come back and we'll work on something else. So I am going to use some Steel Legion drab. It's a very drab brown. And I'm going to put that wherever I want some leather. So like this, these magazine pouches right here. I'm not even sure. This is weird, like magazine pouches. I'm not too. It's like a strap holding a magazine. I'm not. I mean, from a practical standpoint, it's not very practical in my opinion, because I feel like it could slip out very easily unless it's like magnetic or something. I don't know. To me, it's not a great design, but it looks cool. So, and rule of cool rules. We go with rule of cool here more often than not. Now, I'm being very conservative in this miniature, this conversion I've done. In the future, after talking to a good friend of mine, Mr. Harrell, Cale Harrell, and I'll be getting links for his channel and advertising his everything he's doing. Fantastic artist. I consider him a rival when it comes to building and painting miniatures. Very, very gifted young man. Anyways, we had a very awesome conversation about, just our artistry and such. And I realized that I am very conservative in when I do my conversions, because I'm trying to make it useful for the army instead of just having fun, and there's nothing wrong with making it useful for the army, especially if I turn around and try to sell the army, but I'm missing out on some opportunities to build and paint some crazy conversions, crazy miniatures that I can come up with. So in a couple future episodes, we will be doing some crazy stuff, man. Paint Nazis suck. I agree, Mr. Johnson. I agree. Paint Nazis suck. I had one guy. I had just made the suggestion, and because I wanted to, I was going to play. There was a World War II game called Bolt Action, and I was going to play it with these guys, local group here, and I was like, hey, I really like this anime. Really fun to watch, by the way. If you had the main movie is on, or the first of the movies is on Netflix, and I think the series is on Netflix. Girls and Panzer, or Unpanzer, or In Panzer. They have some World War II tanks, and they have like little cutesy symbols here and there on them, like they're, this is the Mighty Duck or so, I don't know. And I wanted to do that for my vehicles. I just wanted to paint that, and they were like, no, the group it's a historical group, and I'm like, but you're playing with little plastic toy soldiers. Like, well, no, that we don't want that in the group. And I'm like, okay, well, you guys just lost somebody that was going to want to participate. It really kind of pooped on my parade, and that's one of those turning points that I decided I don't think I'm going to do this type of thing. But after talking to Mr. Harrell, I realized, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to have fun, and I'm just going to cut loose. And if I can get use out of the model, fantastic. If it's just going to be for show, fantastic. I don't care. So you're going to be seeing a different paint scheme right here on the blade. I'm actually using Gray Knight steel. It's kind of a blue steel color. Like I said, I want this blade to be really, really different than the standard, like a standard sword or spear tip that these guys normally have. So just a nice thin coat, and since it's a base paint, it goes on almost perfectly. I don't even have to do a second coat unless I wanted to, but I didn't thin it down. I try not to thin down the metallic paints, because those metallic paints will sometimes when you thin it down with water, you get some weird running streaks. Oh yeah, I've seen your stuff is not standard, man, and it's great. I've got like these guys are not even going to be standard. This paint scheme is not even full iron snakes. It is way too shiny. It's way too silvery. It's almost, I would almost say I would do this for Gray Knights. So Yeah, do what you want, man. They're your models. Do them your way. I had one guy very nervous about painting Imperial Fists, and he wanted to be able to do more black than yellow. And I was like, do it. It's your models, man. Don't don't limit yourself because of what other people might be saying, or worrying about that sort of thing. All right, so we're getting to a point. I need to go ahead and deal with white real quick. I want to get that tabard going. Then we're gonna come in and start doing the first layers of Runefang steel all over the model to brighten it up. Now this, I'm using some Corax white, which is not the greatest white in the world. I mean, I think it's a good white because it's got some great coverage, and it really gets down. It's very what's the term? Opaque, I think, the terminology I'm looking for, and it's really good at covering up other colors. But it's not in the bottle. It's not the best bottle. It kind of gets a little gummy, and you have to water it down a little bit. Maybe add some medium to the bottle, shake it up, stir it up. Constantly have to stir it up. But I'd say it is a very good base paint. I would not want to use it for anything else, but I get some great coverage with it. So I can't argue too much or complain too much. I'm going to complain a little bit because I expect a better quality, but I understand the mechanics behind white paint are difficult because the mixture that you do requires, I think, like titanium and something else, and it tends to dry. White tends to dry up pretty fast. It's just a pain in the butt color all around. So, I get it, but it's still frustrating because I wish it was a little smoother. And this Corax white is a kind of an off-white. Now, the reason why I wanted to get that on there is because I need that to dry. It's going to take a little bit to dry. So we can actually dive into the Runefang steel. Let me check time. Oh, man, it's only been 33 minutes. Yeah, something is definitely going on with my computer. If you guys are seeing everything fine, awesome. But, man, I've already got 17 alerts for dropped frame rates. Really weird. And makes it a little nerve-wracking. So after today's show, I'll probably go live a second time and see if there's any changes. I might just reset the router, reset everything, and see what that does. But I need to check the analytics. Oh man, I almost just lost everything. There we go. I'll check those analytics afterwards and tinker around with it, see if we can figure out what the deal is. All right, so these models, I've already put a dry brush layer of Runefang steel, and I find that doing that helps create a nice kind of a primer. I mean, even though the model's already got a prime, lead belcher prime on it, I find that doing another layer of the same color I'm about to lay down, like in this case, I did a dry brush layer of the Runefang steel. That helps prevent streaking when I come back in with the paint, and helps create a smoother, more natural looking transition or natural looking paint job, which is what I want. I want it to be as smooth as possible. And I found, and you guys have heard me talk about it before, probably in some of my other episodes over on FNP Wargamers, that I'll use by accident when I was trying to highlight this with Stormhost Silver. I was trying to highlight with Stormhost Silver. I ended up putting too much on, but it had an accidental effect, which was great. It was a very happy accident. And the way that it settled down over the Runefang steel ended up almost kind of like being like a gap filler. So like if I had any paint brushstroke marks or any gaps in the paint, the way it's kind of settled into the recesses of those very tiny micro brush strokes that the human eye really can't see, but the camera will pick up. It ended up getting this very smooth finish, like, for example, the panel there on his hip, on this captain's hip, very smooth finish. And that's just from doing Runefang Steel and then the Stormhost Silver over it, just by accident. So we love happy accidents here. Happy accidents. So, alright, so all I'm doing is just putting that fine layer, thin, fine layer right over the top of each of these panels. I'm going to try to avoid doing that greave for a moment just because the greave takes a little bit longer. That's the armor there protecting the shins. I'm pretty excited about doing this channel, my own channel. Like I said, I am still going to be doing FMP Wargamers. I'm not leaving. I'm not fired. Nothing like that. I'm not even like making any money off of that over there. But I was like, you know what? I want my own channel. I want my own brand as well. So I'm going to help grow both channels and have some fun with it. And like I said, I want to be able to give back to the community. So as the channel grows and I get more likes, when I get the donation button and everything up and going, everything that I get from this channel is going to go right back into the channel. And then at least here in the first year or two, and then also will go back to the community that's helped grow it. Now, like I said, not everybody's going to be able to get something unless I win the lottery or, you know, some millionaires like, here, dude, here's like $1 million, give it to all your followers, or buy them, you know, I don't know, a keychain or a plushie. I don't know what. But unless that happens, I mean, that's the only way that I'll be able to do something like that. But still, be able to have some product. Like I said, I've got a stack of product over here. I'd love to be able to give away to people. So the more I grow the channel, the more you guys help me grow by getting your friends and family to jump over, especially here on Twitch and over on YouTube. That helps out. And yeah, I am fishing for likes and follows. That's the only way you're going to grow the channel. I'm not going to lie. But I want to be, like I said, I want to do it to also give back to everybody that's helped out. Because I've got a very large personal community, personal friends, family, loved ones, and of course Jimmy. And and I, you know, everybody's been very supportive of me over the years, been put up with me in the good times, bad times, taught me stuff, better painting techniques, building techniques, all that kind of thing. And I want to be able to share that with you guys and learn from you, because some of you guys and gals might not even realize it, but some great techniques that you've already been using, or you might even develop later on, it might enhance my painting and building techniques. So, you know, that's why I want to grow this community, grow this network, and also start featuring a bunch of local artists and other ones that I've worked with, like Mr. Harrell. Fantastic artist. I'll get in a future episode, once I can get an advertisement created for him, I want to be able to show off his artwork. Oh, dude, his art, his photography. Oh, mwah. But I want to be able to do that. And of course, the little chibi me and some of the background imagery here, some future stuff that's going to be coming down the line. Cassandra over at Ari's Nova, she has her own channel here on Twitch and her own web store and everything. She's helping me put that together. Fantastic artist. I want to be able to support them and basically, like I said, create a network. Got a good friend that does live game streaming, and I want to help him out. Basically, I want to grow the community and basically just give back. You guys have been fantastic over all these years, supporting me, Warzone Houston, and I just want to show you my appreciation. So, while I've been running my mouth there for probably way too long, We've got the first layer of the Runefang steel. You can see it's a lot brighter now, or a lot smoother finish. Not as dark. Man, I don't know what is going on with this light. I'm going to have to work on that again. So we can take a moment. Looks like that white has dried. So we're going to do a couple things here. We're going to take a drink. All right. Still need a splash of color in there because it's really annoying. So let's go ahead. Before we move on to the next part, I want to go ahead and get some red in there. I try to wait for red near the end because red is sometimes a pain in the butt color, especially when you're working with lighter colors like the silver and the white. Because any bit of a mess up, it requires a lot of effort to get it cleaned back up. So we're going to try to be a little careful here. And if I get quiet, I apologize. It's just because I'm trying to concentrate. So what I'm painting right now is some Mephiston red on this purity seal. That's just the first part of it. That's like the wax seal that they adhere to the armor. He's got one already kind of pre-molded here on his hip. And then I added one there. And I added another one back here. Now I added this one back here on this pouch because I got a little too much super glue there and I needed to hide it. So I just went ahead and added some more super glue and stuck a purity seal right there in the back. And I tried to have everything kind of flowing in a certain direction. So you see how that tabard is flowing to going to the left, or well, his right. But the camera's flipped upside down, so reversed. So this is actually the direction that my brush is pointing is actually the right, not the left. So that's flowing to the right. This purity seal is going back into the right. Same with this one here, the pre-molded one. And this one is all kind of going in that same motion. So I want this whole model to have a certain motion to it, so it looks a little bit more animated. Yes, the red has made an appearance. I'm going to switch brushes real quick here before we dive into the red, or before we get to the shoulder pad. Go ahead and get some red on my very tiny brush here. Open my eyeballs so I can very quickly. I've not worked with these Terminator heads, so I'm not familiar with the eyes very much and how big they are. It's very small slot there. It's a very annoying little dot. Is that okay? There we go. A little bit better. Get it on both sides here. And if I mess up, it's not a big deal. I can come back in and clean it up. This is not a finalized model. That's just getting the red in there as a base. So now I've talked about it before. Reds, yellows, and oranges. I always have a separate bottle or a cup of water so I can rinse that off, because sometimes that water well, obviously it'll turn red, but I don't want to transfer that red over to any of the other colors. It will do that sometimes. So especially these really pigment heavy colors like Mephiston red or the Blood Angel red contrast. So I want to be careful. So speaking of careful, we're going to go ahead and do the trim here. Just a basis for the trim for the shoulder pads. I'm not too worried about messing up because this interior is going to get Corax white, which is a very solid Is opaque the right word? I think that's the right word I'm looking for. Basically, it'll cover up really well. So I'm not too worried. And this, like I said, this is the initial stage. Just putting that base coat down. So I'm not too worried if it gets over because I have not laid the white down in there. But once I do lay that white, I need to be super careful that I don't go over too much on the red because I'm going to have to come back in and do a little bit of repair work. And repair work with the white and red, that is an issue of painting white over red because that red will bleed through, which is very annoying. I'm sure there's a color theory, there's probably some scientific doodad or color spectrum blah 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 that somebody that's really super into the color wheel or science that can explain why that works like that. But right now that's not an issue. So there we go. Real quick job just getting that red on there. A little bit splash over onto the interior, but that's not that big of a deal. That's not going to kill anybody. Well, the sword's going to kill somebody. But let's go on. All right. Well, I guess it's time for the stress. Time for some stress. I realized that I forgot to stretch about every 30 minutes. I try to stretch or crack my hands, crack my knuckles, everything like that, because I get a little tense. All right. So here comes the stress. We're going to do some fine edge highlighting down in these recesses. I'm hoping, let me switch over here on my phone. Let me see if my, just want to see if anybody's having issues. Nope, nobody's having issues. Okay, nobody else is having issues. All right, so what is stressful that we're about ready to do? Well, if you see these little recesses, see this little line here in the back of his calf, maybe the, let's find this little, you can see these little concentric rings here for his armor. Down in those recesses, in those gaps, that dark line, we're actually going to put a thin line of Dragonhof Nightshade. It's kind of a dark blue shade or wash down in those recesses. Because that blue will help reflect off give it kind of some extra depth to the silver. And it also helps darken that out and get some contrast going on there for the different panels. And if I splash over at this stage, it's okay because I can come back in and clean up with a little bit of that Runefang steel. But I want to do this now before I lay down any Stormhost silver. So we're just going in, and it's not going to look too much because whatever's going on with the lighting, I'm not sure. You're not going to see too much. Well, this one, that will. You'll probably see that quite well. But I just want to get enough down those recesses so you can see a discernible difference. See that difference between like there on his belt. Just kind of making that belt pop a little bit more. You'll see it right here with the knee, even though it's going to be a little difficult. All right, we're moving right along here. Now, some future episodes, just give you guys a heads up, I will be doing multiple models. If you're familiar, if you've followed me before on the FNP Wargamers Paint and Chat, you'll have seen me on there doing like 3 or 4 models at a time. Today, I just want to do this model because I want to be able to show it off and just have some fun. This is for me. This is a John project. All right, so we're trying to get that line down underneath there. in between. I don't have to do all this. I'm choosing to do all this just because I want this model to pop. I want you to be able to look at it and see all those details and just be like, ooh, that's awesome. And plus, it's more about me. Well, of course, it's about me. It's my model. But it's just, I see those little details, and it's like, okay, I need to paint those. That's my own personal cross to bear, I suppose. Best way I could put it. I see it, and I've got to fill it in. I've got to paint that little bit. So I don't mean it's for me in a conceited way, but for me, I need to get it done because it's there. It exists. And since it exists, it requires paint. All right, moving along here. Taking care of these greaves. Messing up a little bit, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not too worried about messing up at this stage because I can come back in and do my normal cleanup stage that I always do because, well, accidents happen. And sometimes they're not happy accidents. Sometimes the accidents are bad enough that I want to throw a model across the room. And if I haven't told you the story about the great Storm Raven incident of 2011, that'll be on a future episode. We might even try to recreate that great Storm Raven incident, much to the amusement of some people that saw the deadly after effects or the deadly crash. That'll be fun to recreate. All right. Check chat real quick. Okay, we're doing good on chat. So basically I just went down in there, filled in a little bit of blue to make all those recesses there at the boot, the knee, around those little hip plates, just to make that pop out. That's why it's a little darker down in there. Down behind are on the calves, because these guys do not skip leg day. I do occasionally. All right, and you can see pretty much, yeah, that's what we're doing. Down there in the calves, behind the legs. Let's go ahead and get behind here. I don't need to, but I can. It's like there's a bit of a glare in there. I just want to get that covered up, make that darker right back in there between the Achilles heel and the back of the calf. Just wanted to get that kind of covered up. All right. All right, I think that's it. Oh, nope. And the way that these washes or the shades work is I can kind of dab, and by pushing down on the model and then pulling out instead of doing a stroke, but down and out, that pressure and those recesses, it just kind of like sucks the shade right off the brush down into that recess. So just a little tip to help you out. I'm going to go ahead and put a fine line up there around the collar, around that gorget. You know what's funny is I just had all the lighting on this fixed, and something has happened that's very annoying. It's very annoying. All right, we're moving along. We're going to give that just a moment to dry. So while that is drying, hey, what's going on, Nam? Oh, I will start over, Nam. I will. On tomorrow. I'll start over tomorrow's episode, buddy. Yeah, you don't want me to start over. Man, it's really weird. Now I'm at like 28 dropped frame or 28 incidents. This is really weird. I don't know what's going on. So while that's drying down there in those recesses of the in between all the panels, that Dragonhof Nightshade, we're gonna go ahead and tamper with the leather that I've done here. So this is the second part of doing the leather. So Steel Legion Drab was done first, and now I'm just doing a thin layer of the snakebite leather. It is not I know Games Workshop came out and said, "Oh, you can do a one thick coat." You don't have to do a thick coat. You can just experiment. If you start dealing with contrast paints, just experiment. Because they were like, "Oh, just do our primer, our gray sear, or our wraithbone, and then after you put that down, then you're going to want to use the contrast paints." Well, yes, but no, you don't have to do that. You can actually put other colors down and get some interesting results. Like I get a very rich brown leather that just like here on that rifle casing, got a nice rich brown, and I haven't even put the aged and scratch marks on it. Haven't even tried cracking that leather yet. So that's that Steel Legion drab with the snakebite leather over. I get it. It's a different look of the brown, much darker, much richer than say putting that over gray sear or snake or wraithbone. So experiment. Don't be afraid to experiment. And if you don't want to wait, you don't want to experiment on miniatures. You guys have probably, those of you that followed me over when I was doing the paint and chats over on FMP Wargamers, I've told you there, grab a sprue, grab one of your sprues, and sit there and, well, prime it, but prime your sprue and test out colors on your sprue. It's an easy thing to do. You can see how the paint lays, how the color interacts with other colors, and kind of save yourself some trouble. If you want to, or not. It's up to you. Your models, man. I'm just trying to help you out. Like I said, we will be doing some videos in the future for those of you that have like 5 minutes a week or 5 minutes a day to paint. I've got you covered. I'm going to show you exactly how much you can get done in one day with 5 minutes a day with a variety of miniatures. That's going to be probably between a live video and a pre-recorded. For those of you that are joining me just now, just let you know, we've got a lot, or I've got to stop saying we. I've got a lot in store for all of you as we grow the channel. So real quick, while I'm grabbing some other paints here, down below there should, in the about section, or maybe right below the video here, you should see some links for Twitter, not my window here, but the overall screen. Down below in the description, you should be able to see some links for for Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, of course. Oh, I don't think Twitch because you're already here. Just hit that follow button, and of course, there's a link for YouTube, or should be a link for YouTube. Jump over there, hit follow wherever they're at. The more people I've got growing the channel, all the channels, especially here on Twitch and over on YouTube, gets more attention. The more interaction I have with you guys, especially on YouTube and here on Twitch, means more people are going to take notice. More people take notice, more sponsors take notice and give me stuff. And that stuff I give to you as a giveaway. It'll be random draws and everything, but I've already got a stack of giveaways ready to go, and I'm going to be working on 2 armies, one for Age of Sigmar and one for Warhammer 40,000 are going to be charity armies, and you guys are going to have a chance to win those. So, then the money's going to go to a charity. So, I like I said, I want to look out for you guys, give back to the community. You guys have been so great supporting me over, however long I've known you. Whether it's since 1988 or all the way up to now recently. I want to be able to give back to the community that supported me, and that's part of the reason why I'm doing this. So I'm going to take a break here from doing some of these other colors, and we're going to go ahead and add some Morghast Bone. This is a new base paint from Citadel. We're going to add that as a base coat for these purity seals. And just get a nice thin coat over it. I don't need a thick one. I just need good coverage, because we're going to come back in with a contrast paint a little later, and once that's dry, and lay that contrast down and then brighten it up again with some layers. I'm trying to stall doing the white. I know I'm going to have to do it. That's the other reason why I'm painting the Morghast brown or the Morghast bone right now. Let's see here. All right. So he's got his 3 purity seals, and there really is no process. I would to how to start. You can start at the bottom. You can start at the top of the model. You can start in the middle, work your way out. I would just say always start with your base colors first, and work your way up to your layers, obviously. Yeah, the red is finished. The red is definitely finished. Well, it's kind of finished. So you know what? Let's just go ahead and peel the Band-Aid off really fast here. Let's just try to do this. I might get a little quiet. So I want to try to be very careful getting this Corax white there. And I've got my buttons and stuff turned off right now, so I don't have to worry about somebody hitting the scream button and scaring the crap out of me or something while I'm painting. I got all those widgets removed. So I didn't even think. I just went right into it. Didn't even take time to hesitate. So I guess it's a good thing. So this is the Corax white again. I'm just putting a thin watered down layer. I don't need it to be too thick, because I'm going to come back in with bold titanium white from Creature Caster a little later once this dries and I'm feeling comfortable with it. I'm trying to not go over the red. Just get nice even coverage over that entire interior. I don't care if it's a little streaky on the inside, because like I said, we're going to be covering that up later. natural gray plastic is your go-to. There's, you know what, and I'm going to be honest with you, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you want to do with your models, man, that's okay. That's your models. I prefer painted models. And like I said, I'm going to show you guys in some future episodes a lot of basics. Especially with these contrast paints that Games Workshop came out with, the Citadel contrast paints. I'm going to help you get some, so to speak. So I got you covered. And I tell you what, those guys in chat, yeah, forge your own narrative there. What do you got? Should I keep that as white, this tabard, or do you think I should do red? Because, he's going to have the 2 shoulders there. So he's going to have red frame. What if I had that tabard down in between there, red? That would really help kind of... So I always try to do that framework of like a triangle, showing off, kind of framing the model. Red on... Well, it's really all 1. It's not 2. But you know what? That would look very Greek. Good call, Grandpa Strange. Good call. All right, let's do this, or try to do this. Let's say that much. Checking my time. Oh yeah, we got plenty of time. Actually, I have all the time in the world, but I don't want to be on for hours on end, since I talk a lot while I'm painting, and my voice starts getting a little ragged. Alright, once again, I didn't even hesitate when I dived in there. So, either I'm very confident, or I'm being very reckless. Maybe a little bit of both. Need a little bit more water to that. I could have just gone in there with some contrast red, Blood Angel red, but Mephiston has like really been my go-to red lately. So even though the colors are very similar, the Blood Angel red requires a little bit of extra effort to make sure you're getting the same color coding. Oh man. Woo. All right, time to get the thin brush. It's only reckless if I mess up. True. That is a true statement. It is only reckless if I mess up. So nerve-wracking. Now it's nerve-wracking because it's hard to get down inside the... Yeah, and I'm trying to paint a spot that nobody's going to end up seeing but me. Oh, man. Oh, goodness. All right. We're almost done, though. I think that... Now, I'm going to go look at... I mean, not right now, but I think later on. I'm going to look at some old art for... Well, as old as I can get, or some historical depictions of some of the kind of Greek things. I think they're putting like little hash marks along that length. I might have needed to reverse that, red in the center and white on the outside. I'm not sure, but we're gonna find out. But I might put some geometric symbols along the flat side of this later. I'm gonna go do a little bit of research before I do that, and but like little circles or maybe some hash marks, or I don't know. We'll take a look. I can kind of see it in my brain pan right now, but I want to actually have the examples up on the screen so I can do that, be accurate with that, if that makes sense. Got a little bit of red over onto the white, but that Corax white is so strong. It actually covers up that red perfectly. All right. Yeah. Well, I mean, Spartans are basically Greek, aren't they? Yeah, no. Or did I just like start a fight? Be like, they're not Greek. All right, so a little bit of cleanup work with some Runefang steel. We're gonna go ahead and clean up from that Dragonhof Nightshade, and I got a little bit of red here and there. Just going to just do some spot checking, just a little cleanup, a little brightening. Then we're gonna come through with the Storm Host, and that will hopefully. Oh dang it! I need to get some more white. Totally forgot. Squad member of these squads, the sergeants or the squad leaders, they'll have a red knee pad on the left side, and then everybody else will have a white one. So I need to... Well, veterans, though. So I think all these guys should have a red knee pad, I think. Why not? Forge the narrative. Forge my narrative. My models, I can do what I want. If you don't like it, too bad. Because it's my model. I can do what I want. All right, let me get a little bit more storm. Yeah, they are special. Let me go ahead and get a little bit more Runefang steel. Fix up this helmet. Got a little overzealous there. Just kind of brightening up and making sure those recesses stay nice and dark. I don't mind a little bit of staining, but I want to still try to make this nice and neat. All right, that is looking good. Do I have... Oh, I got a little bit more red left. Let's see if I've got just enough red to get that knee going. there. Yeah. And this is actually the first layer of the red. We're going to come back through with a very watered down Evil Sun Scarlet. That will pretty much run all over the place. I'll have different alternating light and dark red areas. Once again, adding some more depth to more color and depth to the model, which is what we want. So one last spot, and you hit with some Runefang Steel. Now I'm going to do some stuff off camera. As I can see right here, I'm going to want to break out my jeweler's lens. But I can see around this belt, looks like there's a couple chains that might have some doodads or knickknacks, relics or whatever it is they're carrying with them into battle. They're 12 points of flare, whatever. We're going to want to take care of that. All right, let me do a quick check. You know what? Let's go ahead and break out that Evil Sun Scarlet. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's get that ready. We're going to use this for several things right now. I'm going to go ahead and put a very thin line of that Evil Sun Scarlet over the what do you call that? The Mephiston Red. Just a little bit. Oh, that was close. We want a little bit to shine through underneath or over top. There we go. Perfect. Now, while that dries, go ahead and do just a quick right over the raised edges of those purity seals to make those pop a little bit more. Just around those edges, just to help make that stand out a little bit more. Now I'm probably going to come back in later with a little bit of purple down inside of there. I think that purple might be good. We'll see. All right. So I'm going to hold off on using the Evil Sun Scarlet on the tabard there, but we are going to go ahead and water this down. The little bit I've got left, we're going to go ahead and put it over that knee. You can see it's very watery. It's kind of just, it's just kind of, most of it's going into those recesses, but I'll just kind of move it around since it is still a little wet, and give it just a little bit more color to it instead of just that bright red. So you guys can see the difference. I know it's still wet, but you can see a kind of an orangish red look going on there on that knee pad versus over on the Mephiston Red. Just all we're doing is enhancing that red color, just like we did with those eyes right there. We're not done with those eyes. In fact, those eyes are ready for the next part. Let us grab a little bit of Corax White. We're going to mix that a little bit of Corax White with some of that Evil Sun Scarlet. Actually, I don't think that's going to work out. That's really watered down. There we go. All right. So, it's almost a pink color right now. And we're just going to go into those eyeballs. I'm just going to do just a little line. Just a little line. We want to still maintain that those layers of red underneath, but we want to make those eyeballs pop out a little bit more menacing, a little bit more 3D like. Just because we're playing with plastic toy soldiers doesn't mean we can't make them look realistic. So there we go. We got some glowing eyes. Wow, they do look like they're glowing right now. Woohoo, I did it. Look, Mom, I can do it. That's, oh, wow. I pat myself on the back on that one. That came out pretty good. All right, so I got a little bit of this mixture of the Evil Sun Scarlet and white, Corax white. I'm just going to kind of dab here and there, just around that purity seal a little bit. Kind of making it a little bit more three-dimensional. I don't need to cover the whole thing, just little spots here and there. Just little highlights or wear and tear, if you will. Just enough. So while we're doing this, while that's drying, it won't take too long to dry, but it is time to do something about the rest of the purity seals. And we're going to find Skeleton Horde Contrast. I started doing this recently, and I ended up liking it. So we're just going to stick with this process. So we're just going to straight out of the bottle, no mixing, no putting it on my palette. We're just going to put the Skeleton Horde Contrast right over that Morghast bone. Let it sits down in those recesses nicely. We get a nice staining on it because we want that to look like aged vellum, or I think vellum's the word, paper. We want that to look nice and aged, or fancy, if you will. Like they went to the chaplains went to Space Office Depot and got the fancy paper for resumes, and that's what they actually make their purity seals out of. And that's actually what I make my purity seals out of, by the way. The purity seals I do for awards and stuff for painting contests. I actually use that paper, and I've actually have some purity sealed designs. All right. Awesome. So, and this guy's coming along. I think it's time. Oh man, I can't believe I haven't even messed with the gold yet. Jeez Louise. Agrax Earthshade to the rescue. I hate that I'm using Agrax Earthshade because I've been avoiding it on a lot of my recent paint jobs. But I ended up liking the way it settled in on this Retributor Gold. So here I am using but I guess, if it's everybody talks about it, it's a very good technique, it's very good for this sort of thing, and there's a reason behind that, so I can't really knock it. Well, I can, but it doesn't make any sense. If it works, I guess maybe I just wish I could have found something a little bit better, but I really needed this gold to be more of a red gold. I did not like the way that Reikland Flesh Shade, when that was put over the gold, I didn't like the way that looked. So, and I didn't like the way Druichi Violet. So I just put that over that gold. You can see those feathers now a lot better, and that's the effect we're going for. We want to make sure those feathers, especially here on the Aquila on his chest, pop out more. That way I can go back in with a brighter gold, and we can get some cool effects going on in there. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with using that Agrax Earthshade. It's just I've been trying. I just want to try to expand my knowledge, expand my techniques. So, like right now, I've got found a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like a 6-step process for non-metallic gold that I'm going to do for a future model, not this line, because it'll just mess up the whole aesthetic. Since I've done this with all the models, I don't want to mess it up, so I'll just do that for another line, another project. But I will be doing a non-metallic gold later on, and that's essentially taking like a basic, let's just, for example, taking browns and yellows to make gold instead of gold paint. Why do we do that? I have no idea why I'm going to do that, to be totally honest, because I'm a glutton for punishment. Yeah, when you paint, yeah, you use it a lot. Yeah, I don't know when the last time you painted, Mr. Johnson. still, I have no idea. Man, we're at 40 alerts now for whatever's happening to my channel. Oh, I'm going to have to go in and do a hard reset later after the show and figure out what the F is going on. Because I see a lot of people are on watching right now, but I'm not getting blasted on Facebook. Nobody's saying anything. Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. When we went to LVO. Yeah, whose idea was it to drive? Ugh, stupid idea. All right, so I got some bold titanium white. We're going to go ahead and put our first watered down layer of it here in that shoulder pad. Get that going. I found that if you want a nice smooth white, and I think everybody that really does white, try to do white well, which I've ended up doing it well, is layers of very thin white, thin down white. It ends up working well. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit extra work, but you don't get that chunky kind of, you don't get the chunky white paint look. So you do have to be careful that you, I got to move this around here because it got a little too, sorry, I got a little too wet, and now it's sliding all over the place. So I'm trying to, afraid to wick it up. We're just going to wick it up. We'll deal with the consequences. Because I can just put another layer on. There we go. So it's not great, but it's the first layer. I should only have to do one more layer, and that should be the end of it. So while that's doing that, checking everything out, I'm still going to hold off. Oh, you know what? We can go ahead and get this center white done. And you can see now kind of like that stark difference between Corax white and, say, an actual white Scar. Because that Corax white is a little grayish. And you don't have to do any of this. You can just slap that down and say, look, I painted my army white. And sure enough, it's white. Do what you want, man. It's your models, your army. Whatever standard you want to get. I would hope that you would go for a higher standard, but once again, it's your models. Do what you want. Do what you want. Do what you want. All right, man, this guy is definitely coming along. Yeah. Let's deal with that sword blade a little bit, since we've got time. We got like 3 different areas that are. Checking chat real quick here. Why does it look like my chat has froze? Is it? Oh, it's because it paused. Oh man. I was like, what the heck is going on here? All right. Man, it's really bothering me, that chat window. I got to figure that out. All right, so just going to take some more of that Drakenhof Nightshade, but instead of being careful, we're just going to slather it, well, relatively slather it over that blade. We want to kind of blue up that blade a little bit more. I am not going to be making these energy blades right now. I'm trying to figure out what kind of effect I want. Do I want to go crazy or do I want to be subtle? I think I'm going to go subtle, but you never know. So, man, there we go. That was easy. We're going to let that dry. We're going to let that white. We're going to let all this dry. And why that is happening, just do a quick reminder. So I see a bunch of people have joined. If you can, down there in the description, hit all those links for the social media, especially YouTube. And I will just get over there and like it. I will get that video up. This video up later on over there, start that video library. The more people I have joining the channel, the faster it grows, especially here on Twitch and on YouTube. It will allow me to get more support from the community or from businesses and such. And that support goes to you guys. So unless it's like lighting, or they're like, hey man, here's some cameras or some soundproofing or whatnot, for the studio. But he's like, hey, here's here's like some free stuff. Well, I want to give to you guys. I want to show you guys my appreciation. Maybe not everything, if I got like a special promo code just for one person for Raid Shadow Legends, I might keep that for myself, but you know what I mean. Like I said, I've got plenty of prize support for upcoming videos. We talked about it the other day on FNP, and I'll go ahead and just bring it up here, that I'm going to be doing some reaction videos to some really bad movies in the very near future. And I'm still working on the list and checking what I need to do for make sure I'm not doing anything that's copy or violating copyright, because I don't want to lose the channel or get strikes or get in trouble, get takedown requests and all that jazz. So once I've cleared all that out and I've got everything set up for that, we're gonna have some awesome reaction videos to some really, really bad movies, like Dragon Ball Evolution bad. All right. And we're actually going to be doing, I'm going to hold off on that one. So this is that shield that we're going to be using. So I've decided I could have done a metallic shield here. I did prep the inside to be lead belcher, to be metallic, but I'm going to go with Corax white. My idea is the interior, with the exception of the eagle, to be white, and then the eagle and everything being red. I think that big splash of white and red color to go to contrast his silver armor, I think will look cool. I think. If not, then I'll just simply redo it. I mean, it's not a big deal. I'll strip the paint and we'll redo it. So just getting a thin layer of that Corax white down again. That acts as a great base for white later on. Now, since there are a lot of recesses in those feathers there, or where the feathers are on this armor or the shield, what I'm going to have to do is, once this dries, I'm gonna have to slide in and with a wash or a shade of some sort to get down to those recesses. But that's okay, not a big deal. What I'll do first is, I'll do that, and then I'll go ahead and let me reverse all this and try to figure out how to speak English today. I'm going to do all the red first, then I'll come back, clean in the white, and then I'll put probably Nuln Oil, I'm thinking Nuln Oil down in those recesses, and then we'll come back in and hit it with the white, so you'll have this nice layering effect. But it looks like we're good. We got all the areas. I need almost all the areas that I need to be white. I think, in my brain pan, it works. But we'll see how this... you guys might have to wait till tomorrow to see this shield. Because this is going to be one of those. I'm going to have to have it up in my face working on it. It's going to be a little too hard to do on the camera. And I'm going to have to probably pin this to a cork so it'll be easier for me to hold. So we're going to tinker with that later. But I at least wanted to get that started, get that ball rolling, and just so you guys knew what was going to be happening with that shield. And we'll probably pick this up tomorrow. And I'm also going to be doing getting some paint ready here. Tomorrow morning, tomorrow night, we will be doing some board game miniatures. Resident Evil, I believe, is on, some Resident Evil monsters. So I'll be doing just some basic prep work for them, and we're just gonna have some more fun tomorrow. Probably Wednesday will be a paint tutorial. Give everybody a chance to say, hey, could you show me how to paint this? Jump on when I get that YouTube video uploaded later on tonight. And you guys will get the announcement tonight or tomorrow if you've got the notification bell clicked on. Once that video is up and going, you can jump on there and say, hey, John, can you paint this type of Stormcast Eternal, or this type of ghoul or zombie or chaos cultist? I'll do my best. It depends on what miniatures I have available, and then we can go from there. I'll have to get a list of everything I have available, and we'll test out some color schemes. So it's to see what you guys like, and see if I can help you out, especially if you have a limited amount of time to paint every week. So I want to be able to help you out the best I can. So that blue, the Dragonhof Nightshade, settled very nicely. Kind of gave a nice blue steel onto that gray night steel that we had. And I can see that the battery's almost dead on that phone, so I'm not going to be able to see chat here in just a few minutes. So let us take some Runefang steel here, and we're just going to do the actual edge of this blade here, the cutting edge that they formed here. This is just to make it a lot brighter and to show the distinction. Between the whole blade there. So kind of seeing that cutting edge of the blade kind of starting to form. And I might end up doing some special effects on this a little later that might end up going over this edge, but that's okay. It's no worries. I'd rather have the edge there and not need it than not have it there and need it. If that makes any sense. So I still got a little bit of my brush, so I'm just going to hit the edge here. I don't want to get rid of that blue steel look. I just want to kind of dark or kind of help frame or highlight those edges a little bit there on that blade. So this sword's coming along. It's starting to look really super fancy, really sharp. I don't know. Starting to look good for a Blade Guard veteran. Conversion, since I bamboozled somebody earlier. Checking a video. I just want to see how that's working. Yeah, okay, cool. All right. Just using a little bit more of that just to kind of clean up some of that edging that I did. All right. So now comes the last part probably for tonight. Looking at, we got a lot of viewers here. So I'm about to lose my ability to see the chat. I apologize. So here comes a nerve-wracking part. We're going to take some Black Templar and we're going to put it down in between the red and white. The red of the shoulder trim and the white, and then we're going to come back in later with some white and kind of get it all nice and cleaned up. But this is nerve-wracking because I want to keep a nice thin but dark line of the Black Templar. Some people will use Nuln Oil and that's probably easier, but by accident I used the Black Templar and I ended up liking it so much that I've done it with all the models. I had to go back and redo like 20 models, so I got to be quiet for a second. So I don't mind getting over on the red. I'm just trying to keep it minimal on the white. I'm trying to keep it a nice even line. Because the red I can clean up a lot easier than the white. Once again, thanks everybody for joining. Make sure you hit those social medias down there in the bottom, especially Facebook, YouTube, and of course this channel. Just hit that follow button That means more support, more giveaways. All right, not the perfect. Not the most perfect line, fine line detail down there in that on that shoulder pad, but it's enough. It's clean enough that I can go back in with the white and clean it up. I don't have these big, broad slashes. So now that that's done, and I don't have to worry about the red and the white getting mixed up, I can come back with my Evil Sun Scarlet and just edge that shoulder pad. Now I will be doing the shoulder pad on the left arm later on. I'll probably end up doing that tomorrow just because I need to prep it. But for right now, we can at least get this shoulder done, and that will leave little to no work tomorrow. So I'm just using, I mean, this is like paint by numbers. You guys might have heard me talk about this before on the other channel, is that you should look at miniatures as paint by numbers. Every section is a number, and you should just go, okay, well, this section, I just need to paint this one section right now, this color, that's it. And you just hit each section one step at a time. And it makes painting a lot less intimidating and a lot less stressful. So see, we just went in, just got that Evil Sun Scarlet. That really helped show how bad that black is. I mean, it's not bad, but it's enough that I'm going to have to, I definitely need to go in and clean that up for sure. But it's still, and this guy's coming along kind of nicely. Still looks like a Grey Knight, especially with that Grey Knight head. And like I said, as soon as I can find more of this helmet on this captain conversion, as soon as I can get access to more of these helmets, I will swap those out. But those are just placeholders for right now. I don't mind them, but I'd rather keep with this aesthetic, with this hoplite style helmet that I got from Forge World. And what I might have to do is just make my own, use some green stuff to make a mold, and maybe pour some resin in, since it'll be, I'm not selling it, I'm not, I'm just making my own. Like Games Workshop even put out some tutorials on how to make your own purity seals with green stuff, so I might do that. Make my own heads using some green stuff, make a green stuff mold. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to find out. That might be the best way, unless I can find, a lot of these on sale on online. Because even though that head looks really awesome, it's still a little too knightly, and I don't want that European knightly look to it. I want to get this kind of Greek look. Now, this model will come together once that shoulder pad's on, but I'd rather pop that head off. That helmet is from the Grey Knight Terminators. Unless you're talking about this one, you'll have to go on Forge World, under the Minotaurs chapter. It's a chaplain. This is a hoplite helmet, but I'd rather find this helmet over everything else. Okay. Let me plug my phone in here. I'm not going to be able to see chat, but right now, while I'm still tinkering with stuff, but while that's charging up, I can do some wrap-up stuff, and then once my phone gets a little charged up, since whatever's happening right now with Streamlabs is not letting me see the chat, I can answer any questions there at the end. So he does look a little too knightly with that helmet, so I really do need to pop that helmet off, unfortunately. But I'm going to leave it on for right now, because if I can't find those helmets, I want at least something there. And once I get that shoulder pad on, I've already got it assembled here. I got the 3D printed one I did, the 3D printed symbol glued onto there, and I just need to prime this. And I am going to prime it on the sprue because it'll be easier to paint the underneath part that you rarely see, but it's a pain in the butt to paint those little dotted lines and everything. It's hard to paint once the shoulder pad is on. So I'm going to paint at least that red at first and then pop it off, glue it on, and go from there. Just like I did with everybody else. Just so you can see why am I doing these conversions. I just want to really highly specialize my army. So let me grab a couple of these models. I really think customizing your army, you don't have to do it. I just really enjoy doing it, doing conversions. So here's some examples of conversions. This is the Lieutenant Amalus, I think. It's a Warhammer World exclusive model that I'm still working on, but normally he has a sword down at his side, but I gave him a Thunderhammer, and I put a Stalker bolt rifle on his backpack that he could reach up and around and grab when he needs to shoot people, when he's not hitting them in the head with that big old giant hammer. Now that is definitely a conversion because that hammer is also for the Death Watch. So this model normally does not have that hammer. He does not have that right arm. That's a different right arm. And he definitely does not have that bolter. So I went a little crazy with that. So that's just an example. And a couple other examples here. These are basic, more basic intercessors. But like this one, I grabbed an arm from the Infiltrator set. He's throwing smoke. And he's obviously a veteran because he's got that red knee pad. I gave him a fleshy arm from those the Venatari Custodes. Threw his bolter on the back. They're all part of the same squad. They're just like kind of an elite stealth squad that has gone in. This guy has got his super silenced pistol and his combat blade. Like he's just got done being super sneaky. And I wanted him to have the big old muscly arms underneath there. Like, well, they're veterans. They're sneaky. They're badasses. You can see that double edge on the blade, or that two different tones for the metallic. And last, I've got a traditional, well, somewhat traditional Smash Captain. Normally they're regular Space Marines, but I wanted a Primaris body, so forged my own narrative. Even though rules wise he's a regular Space Marine captain, I wanted him to have a jump pack and a big old massive hammer that he dropped for whatever reason. And maybe he really wanted to get up close and personal and stab somebody with his combat blade. Who knows? He threw off his helmet, as you can see in the back here. Threw off his helmet. Maybe somebody shot it off. And he's like, all right, I'm going to stab you in the face. So basically trying to tell a story with all the models. Gave him a backpack. Still tinkering with these. There's his Iron Snake's chapter symbol. So you can see what I do with these conversions. I try to tell a story with all of them, because I feel like the more cinematic, the more narrative your miniatures look like, I don't know, they just have a better feel to it. I think they perform better. That's just me. Who knows? Some people actually go and get their dice blessed by the Pope. I'm not kidding. So who knows? So I think that's it for the day. Let me grab my phone. Let's check out the chat. Once I'm done here, I will go and figure out what the heck is going on with all this. And I will definitely be seeing you guys tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central Time. And I really appreciate you guys jumping on all the different social media, especially YouTube and here on Twitch, hitting the follow and subscribe. If you are a Prime, Amazon Prime member, you can get Twitch Prime for free. I don't know if you know that, but you can get one Twitch Prime subscription free a month. And if you don't mind using it here, hook me up. It'll help me out. It'll help you out. And the more people on the channel, like I said, getting basically showing off the channel, the better off we are of getting sponsorship and getting goodies to give away to you. So more coming down the line for that. Like I said, I've got a stack of giveaways. We'll be doing some painting some side projects for charity that you're going to have a chance to get your hands on. and a lot more coming down the line. Let's take a look at the chat real quick. Oh man, walked away and chat is going. Let's see here. What are they called? I'll send you a link for all that for those helmets. All right, cool. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I appreciate this is the first episode of Havokmkr Studio. We got a lot, like I said, we got a lot more live stuff coming down the line and pre-recorded videos, a bunch of tutorials, how-to, some funny reaction videos, and more is in store. And it's all for you guys to show my appreciation for the years of support, friendship, and the continued support that I'll be getting from you. So I'm going to be giving back to you. And I'm hoping that we're going to have fun doing this. Especially some of these weird and wacky creations I'm going to be throwing up on here that we're going to be painting and giggling about. We got a lot of weird stuff going to be coming down the line. Once again, make sure you hit all those social medias. I really super appreciate it. Even if you turn off notifications, I get it. I understand. But as long as you hit those, I really super appreciate it. It really helps the channel, like I said. More coming down the line. I will see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. here. And if you're not able to make it between now and Friday, any of these night shows, Friday morning over on FMP Wargamers, I'll be doing our news and rumors show and getting this all caught up for the weekend of what's going to be coming out soon. And if I have any weird news and rumors drop in my lap, which I very well could, I will do an immediate show in the morning and or the evening on FNP, and we'll get that covered. All right, well, thanks once again, everybody, for watching, and I will see you tomorrow night, I guess in about 22 hours. Have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful day. I know it's Monday, but it's a great start to the week. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a good night.